Welcome back to Life's Biggest Questions. I'm Ron Mackenzie Lafergie. Today, we'll branch out from our video What If Godzilla Was Real and have a look at another giant beast from Japanese cinema, Mothra. Mothra is a giant moth creature made famous in the 1961 film Mothra. This kaiju has, despite her good intentions, caused great destruction on Earth in the movies. But what if she actually existed in the real world? Let's explore. If you want more What If videos, check out our biggest What Ifs playlist on the channel. Now get ready, it's time to ask the question, what if Mothra was real? Well, first of all, it's important to point out that Mothra is actually a benevolent creature, unlike Godzilla, who's a bit less predictable. She is on humanity's side, mostly focused on protecting her island and protecting humanity as a whole from other large threats like Godzilla. This means that as long as we avoided Infant Island and didn't attempt to blow up the planet, the Moth Goddess would likely leave us alone. It's possible that people would even visit the island as tourists, to visit the great Mothra and communicate with her. However, if she did decide to attack us, either because we intruded on her territory, or she believed humanity to be a threat to the planet, many believe that we would be in serious trouble. Of course, a giant moth would be rather terrifying, and if the movies are to be believed, it could be disastrous to the world. But many believe that if the Moth Goddess actually did exist, she would not have the same characteristics as in the movies. Michael LaBarbera, a biologist at the University of Chicago, has spent a good deal of time studying monsters like Mothra, having authored the book The Biology of B-Movie Monsters. And LaBarbera has some encouraging news about a real-life Mothra. In order to take in enough oxygen, Mothra would need a large number of tracheal tubes. This means that while her weight would still be substantial, due to her incredible size, she would have incredibly low density. According to LaBarbera, Mothra would be roughly as dense as a cotton ball. Not so intimidating now. This very low density would have a few effects. For one, it would likely mean that Mothra could be dealt with very easily, since modern weaponry would be highly effective against her. Hell, even just dousing her with water could cause her to become a soggy mess on the ground. But there's one other implication that makes the creature even less intimidating. She probably wouldn't be able to fly. LaBarbera believes that Mothra would likely be too massive to even get airborne, since as her body grew, her mass would increase faster than the area of her wings. But even if she could get up in the air, Mothra would have a bad time. Due to her body's low density and relatively high surface area, Mothra would likely be blown around the sky by the wind. Of course, if she was blown into a building, it would do considerable damage, but this likely wouldn't be a huge issue, especially relative to the damage seen from Godzilla. So it seems that even if Mothra decided to attack, we wouldn't be in too much trouble. She might even struggle to make it to civilization in the first place, since it would be difficult to fly there from her secluded island. If she did manage to get here, she might do a bit of damage, but she wouldn't be able to direct her flight, and would be quite easy to damage, so she would be dealt with rather quickly. However, Mothra does have one other relevant power: rebirth. While she can die, when this happens, she's reborn from an egg to live again, similar to stories of the Phoenix. This means that if Mothra attacked and was defeated, that wouldn't be the end of her. Another would eventually come, but on the bright side, it too would probably be pretty easy to deal with. Of course, this talk of Mothra wouldn't be complete without touching on her singing companions, the twin fairies. They often speak for Mothra, allowing the goddess to communicate with humans. These fairies would be very important if Mothra was real, since it would be important to explain to humanity that the creature was benevolent. They would also be crucial if people did start visiting Infant Island as a tourist destination, since they would allow people to communicate with the great goddess. And now we return to our question, what if Mothra was real? Well, not too much would change, since Mothra likely wouldn't even attack. She's pretty cool that way. But even if she did attack for whatever reason, it seems that the Moth Goddess would be rather easy to deal with, since she would have the density of a cotton ball. Due to this density, if she tried to fly anywhere to either attack or escape, she would probably be whipped around by the wind before crashing. Of course, due to her size, she could still do some damage when rampaging on foot or being thrown around by the wind, but it would soon be dealt with, and the destruction would likely be rather limited. Mothra would be reborn and could eventually return, but this would just restart the long, relatively benign cycle. Personally, I'd be totally cool with Mothra existing. Sounds pretty neat. Thank you for watching Life's Biggest Questions. I hope this was interesting and informative, and maybe even inspired you to look into it further on your own. If you like this video, please thumbs up and subscribe to the channel down below. But while you're down there, let me know what you would do if Mothra was real. Until next time, I'm Ron Mackenzie Lafergie with Life's Biggest Questions, wishing you the best of luck on your quest for answers.